Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I release a Legacy video every Friday. If you want to support the channel, you can do so by joining the Patreon. Here you can gain access to continuously updated documents like a sideboard guide, a primer on Legacy Doomsday, and gain access to the Neville Shoot Discord server. So come join the community at patreon.com/NevilleShootMTG. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoy the video. Hello everyone, Martin here, back with another Legacy video, and today I am playing Legacy Tempo Doomsday. So it's been quite a while since I've played this deck and really grinded with it. Last I did, I had swapped quite a few cards around to try and play Michael Reed's version of this deck, where we're playing 3 cyclers instead of 2 lotus petals instead of 1. The creature suite is quite different, so no Barrowglyphs in the main, but an extra Bowmasters and Murktide. And I know Michael's been doing like really well with that list, and for some reason I immediately started losing with it and had a pretty terrible run. I think I played like 5 or 6 leagues. So I have decided to go back to what worked initially, which might be a bit too reactionary, but I want to see if I can get back on the horse here and see how we do. I still really believe in this deck. So yeah, and this is the list pretty close to the list I started out with. I did swap a Kaito out of the sideboard for another removal spell because I think Kaito was just doing too little. I do worry a little bit that the Izzet tempo decks are sort of disappearing from the format a bit, and I think that is a big reason to want to be on this list, but we'll see about that. And yeah, just for anyone that's new to this deck, it's basically a combination of Doomsday and Dimir Tempo, pretty much formed or molded after the old Dimir Reanimator Tempo deck that got Entomb banned and then has not quite been the same since, but I think it's still floating around in some iterations. And yeah, we basically want to be able to do both things here, both be a Tamiyo Tempo deck and also win with Doomsday. And the sideboard is mostly set up to be able to leverage Consign to Memory and Fortification versus the Mystic Forge decks, and then board into a heavier tempo plan versus opposing tempo decks. All right, well, let's jump into a league. Okie doke, we are on the play for round number 1. Let's see what the chef serves up here. I have concerns about this hand. If we're up against a matchup where Wasteland matters, then that's pretty interesting, but having the Thassa here and the Brazen Boar, I think I'm going to mulligan this. I think we can do better. Okay, I am going to keep this. And I think I get rid of the redundant Tamiyo. The other choice would be Barrowglyph, because we are pretty far off from casting that, and having the extra Tamiyo to pitch to force is something I'd be pretty interested in doing, but we also do have the days, so I'm hoping I won't have to force of will anything here. And if it ends up being like, if we're up against a combo deck, we have force plus days, we just pitched the Brainstorm. Tamiyo's in, let's pass the turn. No Wasteland, happy about that. Basic Island and their own Tamiyo. I think I'm going to be okay with this, because I'll be flipping Tamiyo next turn, and I have days to force that through. So we'll be ahead in the Tamiyo race. Let's get our clue. And then I think I'm going to play the Underground Sea just to turn off days for them, even though with Brainstorm, if we hit like a fetch land, that would make the Brainstorm better, but I think this is okay. That's pretty nice. No second blue card though. But we do find our land. We have Bowmasters. Yeah, this is pretty sweet. I guess we hide. Oh, not sure. Not sure if I would want to just tap out for Barrowglyph next turn or keep open Bowmasters. And this is also a consideration, like if we want to protect anything versus a Thoughtseize. We could get to protect both cards by like having leaving them both on top and then keeping Street Wraith. But then I'm not sure if this is a Delver, which I don't think it is. But if it is, then I don't want to be cycling Street Wraith. I don't think. Yeah, I think I'm gonna leave Barrowgoyf as the top card here. I guess there's also a world where we leave Force of Will on top. Maybe I like that because if I am getting Thoughtseize, then that's the one I don't want them to know about. No, back to my original plan. Leave Barrowgoyf on top here, and then we plus Tameo and pass. Here comes their Tameo, and they play Bloodstained Mire, which makes me think it is Dimir because this gets basic Swamp. I realize it gets basic Mountain too, but I don't think Isildelver plays basic Mountain. Yeah, okay. Brainstorm. I mean, I think this just has to be fine. We're ahead on the Tameo clock here. And do I give them something to daze here? I'm gonna plus Tameo first, I think. That's a good question, right? I'm not sure I want to make daze live for them. Having said that, that also sets them back a land and limits what they can do. I think I will actually try and play this Barrowgoyf here and just accept the 1-for-1 if they daze it. It's worth a Force of Will. I think I take that trade. Because right now we have a win in like face up here with Tameo in 2 turns, and they minus Tameo to get back Force of Will. Okay. Petty Theft. Yeah, I think we accept this, and the next turn I Orcish Bowmasters, and then I can pick up a land to daze their Force of Will, and we can also cycle Street Wraith to try and find another blue card. Force that. Pitch a Brainstorm. I'm gonna daze. So if they have another force, we have to cycle Street Wraith, I guess. But looks like they didn't. Well, their Tameo got them a card. I think I cycle Street Wraith now. I would like to have Force of Will up here. I don't. I think I'm actually going to sit on this Tameo. Rather than trying to reset it. Had I drawn a blue card, I would have. Oh, consider this is the Doomsday Mirror. Okay. Yep. Take your medicine. Grow my orc army. And they put in, what is this? Abhorrent Outburst. Maybe this is not Doomsday, I don't know. Oh, Abhorrent Oculus, not Outburst. Yeah, I think this, I haven't seen these 2 cards in the same deck. Maybe it is like the Thought Scour, like super aggro mill deck that just wants to play like Murktides all day long. So they Surveil, and they keep the card on top. That's interesting. All right, let's cash in this clue. Edge of Autumn. It's not too exciting. Okay. I think we're just now playing Barrowgoyf and going to be looking to pitch this Tameo to our Force of Will at some point. A card they might be interested in keeping on top would be a Murktide Regent. A Reanimate on the Oculus. And what does this mean? At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, Manifest Dread, which means look at the top 2 cards of your library, put 1 onto the battlefield face down. It's 2/2. The other into your graveyard. Turn it face up at any time for its mana cost if it's a creature. Is this worth the Force of Will? How big is this thing? It's a 5/5. Okay, I think I will force this. They had an animate dead. Okay, well. And then now in my upkeep, they get to do the thing. Alright, well, let's see what we can hit here. We might hit something good. Ponder? I'll take a Ponder. So they can't turn that face up right now because they don't have mana. Let's cast the Ponder. Yeah, I don't think we want this. Let's shuffle. Hit a land anyways. That can Surveil. Okay. I have a good attack here because of the Animate Dead making this a 4/5. So I think they have to chump here. So the game is sort of stalling out now. But I have Bowmasters making their cantrips awkward. But if they draw a removal spell, that's pretty good. And this is just pooping out a creature every turn on my turn. Tainted Indulgence. Okay. This could... So this is Demure Reanimator, I guess. So if they draw and are able to reanimate, like, yeah, this Archon, that's pretty crucial. So I put the two triggers on them. We have to hope they didn't have another reanimation spell. It looks like they didn't. You could attack here, right? Okay, but they choose not to. Okay, I would love for this Surveil to show me something good. Daze. I don't think Daze is going to do it. Okay. Oh, this is where it's the top card? Yeah, the top two cards. Okay, but they just wanted to thin. Okay. Oh, did they fail to find a land? Put Underground Sea in the graveyard and manifest the other one. Okay. Tamiyo is something here. They could kill my Barrogoyf here, but it would cost them both their creatures. Depending on what this can turn into, I guess. It's like just the trade here. Alright, I'm gonna play Tamiyo. And we pass. This is quite the interesting game one here. I feel like I was pretty far ahead, and then now I'm sort of falling behind. Petty Theft my Barrogoyf. Okay. And Thoughtseize it. Okay. That turns off Animate Dead. Not Animated, I mean Reanimate. But two of those are already gone. I am sort of just a like sitting duck here if they like find an animation spell, which is not the nicest place to be. We can flip Tamiyo this turn. I would love to find just Doomsday right now. How about that? Okay, we don't. Aside from the Street Wraith, they haven't seen anything that would tell them we are Doomsday. Here comes Tamiyo. Does this fly? It does fly. Yeah, I'm not sure we want to flip Tamiyo, to be honest. Oh, shoot. I forgot. Okay. Well, let's flip it then. And there's a Wasteland. I'm not in love with that. Let's get rid of the basic island. Ponder. Okay. I guess I should have attacked with the army then as well, I think. If I had just been paying attention. Okay. Tamiyo goes plus. Hey, there's a Murktide. I was just thinking that I would want that. And they don't have any cards in hand, so no reason to play around stuff with the Cavern of Souls and show them that. They fetch and response. I don't know why, but they're at 6. Oh, of course, they can crack their clue, because I'm an idiot. Oh my god, if they find the days here, I deserve it. Thankfully, that did not happen. I will wasteland them here. Just, they have spells to, like, moves to make here with Manifest, like, turning this face up, and the Brazen Borrowers. And now they have to draw Animate Dead, I think. Yeah, Animate Dead flips this around. They get the Archon. Now they get a second friend here. I know there's a Dark Ritual on top of the deck. We can grow the Murktide, but I don't think that's important. I think I'm just going to start by sending these two lethal attacks. And they can flash in a Brazen Friend here to block for a turn. That does appear to be what's happening. Okay, they are offering up their Abhorrent Oculus here in exchange for my Orc army. I'm going to take that trade. And now I'm going to Brainstorm. Oof, that is not good. Yeah, put back a Dark Ritual and basic Swamp, I guess. I guess I might as well put back Dark Ritual and Cavern of Souls. A reason to let them know that I have this Cavern of Souls around. And, yeah, plus the Tamiyo and pass. I also have to be mindful of my clock here. I've spent quite a bit more time than my opponent. They could have an Oculus under one of these. Land. Getting to Ultimate Tamiyo, we also have to start worrying about stuff like them having Bowmasters. I don't know. I'm not tuned into these lists well enough to know if they would have Bowmasters in the main deck. They can put 2 damage on Tamio here. I wonder if they were going to do that or what. They chose not to. Okay. I wonder if I'm supposed to minus here and get a Brainstorm, get another crack at that. I am worried about what might be underneath these Manifest Dreads. I think I will... Oof. So if I minus 3, then they can attack Tamio for 4 next turn. I think I will, though, because the game is going to end, I think, anyway. Okay, that grew the Murktide. And I'm going to send Murktide. They have to have an answer for this, and it will probably be flashing in the friend here. I will Brainstorm now. If I hit Force of Will plus blue card, then the game ends. If they have Bowmasters... Oh my god, deck. Really? Well, this is the flip side of playing this version of the deck. Okay. Let's put back. I still want to hide Camera Souls. That is the card I'm most concerned about them seeing, I guess, but it's very marginal value here. So Brazen Borrower makes a noble sacrifice, and we pass. They're at 4 here. I think I'm gonna let them kill Tamio, because I think having Orcish Bowmasters is worth it. Like if they have cantrip stuck in their yeah, if they have cantrip stuck in their hands, then I don't want to turn those on. They got to do the entomb thing with their sewers here and put Atrax into the graveyard, but hopefully that doesn't matter. Okay, so they're attacking Tamio with one of these. Okay. They can flip it, I guess, before damage, but okay, that didn't happen. So, did you find something here that stops you from dying? Okay. A very long game one we took, and now the question is, how do we want to approach the sideboard? I think we want to have the anti-graveyard stuff. I think Bowmasters is good. I think we actually do want to pivot here and not be a Doomsday deck, basically. And I'm not sure about these 4 remaining blue cards. So we did show them both Edge of Autumn and Street Wraith. So I think it is very reasonable for them to for us to expect them to have figured out that we have Doomsday in our deck. So I don't think keeping the Doomsday in is going to be like very much of a surprise. If I hadn't shown them those 2 cards exactly, like if those 2 cards during the span of this match had been like 2 Ponders, then I think I would be more interested in keeping in Doomsday. So we have 3 cards that we want to cut here. I think they're going to be 3 Dark Rituals. Yeah. Yeah, let's try this. I will keep this hand. Sculling Tarn, go. Okay. I think I am able to play on basics here. I can't remember if they showed me Wasteland. But in any case, I am pretty interested in being able to cast 2 blue spells next turn. Like if I draw another blue card, then next turn playing Tamio and then having the option to Brainstorm in the face of removal. So I am going to play Thoughtseize off of Underground Sea here. Basic Island, okay. Yeah. Like, it's always a little bit annoying to have someone Brainstorm into your Thoughtseize because it makes Thoughtseize worse, but Thoughtseizing then also made the Brainstorm worse. This Brainstorm would have been better next turn. Wow. 5 lands. Fatal push. Okay. Yeah. Good luck with that. They can obviously Wasteland us this turn. If they have Tamio, if that's what they hit, then I think I might just Force of Will it. Okay, there's the Wasteland. And looks like they're passing Barrogoyf. Yes, please. Artemio is in. Polluted Delta. Cracking it immediately. Katara. So they have one spell, one card we don't know about. But that's not going to matter unless it stays. I could also just flip Tamio right now, but I do think it's worth it getting rid of this card and then leaving them with 3 lands and 1 unknown. Okay, well, let's attack with... and then I will pay 3 life to kill this. Underground Sea, pass. So 2 unknowns and 2 lands. Lotus Petal, okay. Well, let's start by attacking with Tamio. I think I want to play Barogoyf here rather than start flipping Tamio. They didn't have days before, and I like pushing the advantage here, giving them 2 things they have to worry about in play. Barogoyf is in. Petty Theft? Is that... oh, Bowmasters. Yep, you can have Bowmasters. There is the Sewers. Hate that they could just randomly spike a monster here. Okay, a Wasteland. Another Force of Will. Yeah, I mean, this is... I think I am in a pretty swell position here. I don't have to crack any clues. Barogoyf is the Abyss right now. Second Bowmasters. Yep, you got it. Is that the last card we knew about? So, 2 unknowns in hand. Feels like they have a reanimation spell. They're doing this so aggressively, trying to spike a monster. Tamio. They thought about that for a while. I think you can attack there with the 2 Bowmasters, no? Guess the concern would be if I had a Bowmasters. Leaving behind Tamio or like potentially having it got eaten by a Brazen Borrower here is a thing, I guess, but looks like a pass here. I'm gonna wait with the Undercity Sewer trigger here. Lots of clues. Can't really do anything with them right now. Well, we can, but it's maybe not ideal. I will mill over cards here. Bowmasters would be great. Oh, another Barogoyf. Maybe that's just better. Yeah, I think it's just better. Murktide is actually also pretty good. I'm going to leave that on top and draw it next turn, I think. Now we did give them something to reanimate. I like a Barogoyf here. If my hunch was correct that they did have one in their hand. Reanimate on that. I'm going to let them do this, and then I'm going to Petty Theft it. This is under an opponent controls, yeah. It's not an opponent owns. And I am just going to wait until my turn to do that so that I have double force still. Maybe that's silly. Like, would they would have to have like double Spell Pierce or double Flusterstorm or something? Yeah, maybe I do it now. Days, huh? Okay, so I don't get to draw my blue card here. I will pay 2nd days. Okay, I'll force that. And they concede. All right, sweet. That was a grind, but we got there. Off to a winning start. Let's go for round number 2. On the play for round number 2. Yeah. Let's do this. I think if I had a second land, I would definitely be thought seizing here. But seeing as we have both Force of Will and Daze to protect us against like mad nonsense coming next turn, I think I'd rather develop Tamio here. The Force of Will, Pitch Brazen Borrowers. I mean, there's a world where we want to like let this just happen and then be closer to casting Doomsday, but I think I want a Daze back here if this is important enough for them. Plus, if they have Wasteland and like my Tamio dies, then I have nothing. Yeah, I think I like this. And then next turn we can attack and Thoughtseize. Okay, it's the Underground Sea Mirror here. Undercity Sewers. We could have developed that, but I think I want Thoughtseize. Get the clue. The Raging Clue. And then we Thoughtseize. This looks like another Dimir Mirror. They daze my Thoughtseize. Okay, I'm not going to fight over that. So they just have their second turn once more. Okay, Bowmasters, not bad. Kind of sucks to not have a land here that enters untapped, but it is what it is. Surveil, LED to the graveyard, immediately giving away what we're doing. Wow, and they missed their land drop. Okay. So I have Doomsday here if I want. They have already forced and dazed. Like, if they have another daze, since they don't have a second land drop, it's kind of free for them to daze here. I think I want to take one turn off here to resolve Bowmasters if they have a cantrip next turn. Okay, they have a Wasteland, so... And a Katara. So how does this work? When you cast a spell during your turn, take an experience counter. When this attacks, you may draw a card for each experience counter you have. If you do, discard a card. Okay. This is interesting. A lot of options here. I think I'm actually going to draw with the clue. Will I, though? Because I really want to hit another land. And maybe a daze here. Yeah, I'm going to draw with the clue. I think I'm going to give up on Bowmasters for this, for the time being. I do draw another land. Okay, she's going to resolve. And then I'm going to try and resolve Doomsday next turn. And then just hope that that's going to be good enough. Another force. I guess I take that. That way I don't have to lose my consider. Then again, I guess losing the consider isn't the end of the world. Because I'm not going to be drawing an extra card next turn, so this is never going to be double force. So I think I'm actually going to put this in the graveyard. Yeah, I don't know, like a Dark Ritual would be pretty awesome here. Hope they don't randomly play Surgical Extraction. Alright, we take our turn. Another land. Not the worst. Okay, let's attack here. And I don't mind having uncracked fetch lands in play if this Doomsday resolves. Okay, so they get this. They get the experience counter. They pitch Tainted Indulgence. And then I force pitch Consider. And looks like Doomsday is resolving. Okay, Cavern of Souls. The basic island to fetch. Thassa's Oracle. Edge of Autumn. And what? Street Wraith? Let's see how this is going to work. They could potentially double Wasteland us next turn if they find a second Wasteland. And if that happens, then we have two lands. We can't crack a clue and then cast the fetch the cat or hit the cavern as well. But then we wait a turn. If they don't double Wasteland us, then we crack a clue. So we draw for turn, we draw Edge of Autumn. We crack a clue, we draw the Street Wraith. We cycle Edge of Autumn into Cavern, cycle Street Wraith into Thassa, and then fetch the basic island. Okay, let's try this. I have concerns like if they get to do Reanimator stuff next turn, but I guess that'll have to be fine. And we pass. So now they get to attack for one, and then they get to loot, basically. Why is this experience counter not showing? Oh, it's up here on the opponent's avatar. So they loot away Archon. I mean, we can beat an Archon here. As long as they don't double Wasteland us. Okay. So we lose Tameo, we lose a card from our hand. We go to 5. We have to fetch to 4, and then Street Wraith down to 2. So Bowmasters here is a big problem. That was not the second Wasteland. So costs were just being paid, now they're being paid again. Oh no, really? Okay. This could still be fine. Right, I go to 4, I fetch to 3, Edge of Autumn to 2, cycle Clue to 1. But we have to shuffle the deck. Yeah, interesting. And then hope they don't have Force Blue card here. So which cycler did I put on top? Fuck, I can't remember. Yikes. That's all on me. Why can I not remember? Oh god. I guess it doesn't matter actually, come to think of it. Because I'll be cracking a clue anyway, so I'll get to the... Yeah, no, it's fine. The only thing that matters is the order of the last 2 cards, or the bottom 3 and 2 cards. and then not the very bottom card, because that's the fetch land. We need Cavern of Souls to not be on top of the Thassa, which it is right now, and that's sort of the gamble we're gonna have to take. Okay, so it was the Street Wraith. Yeah, let's cycle one of the, or draw with one of these clues. I guess a daze gets me here because yeah, because that's just the way the cookie crumbles. I go to 3 here, and then we shuffle, and now it's a 50-50. We do get the Thassa here, so big question. Do they have a counterspell? They do not. Okay, wow. Lucky, lucky, lucky. And now we basically board like we did in the last game and get rid of all the Doomsday stuff. Maybe boarding out all the Dark Rituals is better than leaving in one, and then like bringing in Force of Negation or Consign of Memory. Like we are kind of trying to be a control / tempo deck here. Extra forces typically not what you want, but they are also a combo deck, and having protection once we establish the advantage is pretty important. So I think I like that, and I don't really like the Dark Ritual thing. Dark Ritualing out a Barrow-Goyf on turn 1 is sweet and all, but I think most of the time the value is just not going to be there. All right, I'll keep this. They have their own turn 1 Tamiyo this time, and I guess so do I. Yeah, let's try this. My Tamiyo's in as well. Tamiyo's touch butts. I think it's fine getting in the habit of blocking Tamiyo. Okay, and now they're showing Bowmasters. So what does that leave us wanting to do here? Well, we'll get the clue first of all. And I think it is too hazardous for us to brainstorm into this obvious Bowmaster showing. I think maybe we just pass. And that gives us a clue if we want to. We could also like brainstorm right now. That flips Tamiyo. We don't get the first +1. But I think actually I like that because I don't think they can kill the Tamiyo outright as a planeswalker. Okay, get rid of Undercity Sewers and hide Barrow-Goyf, I think. And then we pass. Pretty brave of them to crack the clue into the my open Bowmasters, but I guess maybe they're not looking at it like that. Okay, they Thoughtseize me. Happy that my Barrow-Goyf is not in my hand. They take the Force of Will. Undercity Sewers, okay. And left a card on top. I do want to draw my my Barrow-Goyf here, even though I don't think I'll be playing it into a daze. Let's plus our Tamiyo. And there's a Sewers on top of the deck. I still think I want to ponder and leave my fetch land open here. Bowmasters. Okay. I think we take that and we pass. Ninjutsuing in Kaito here would be pretty terrifying. But that doesn't look like what's going to happen. I suppose you don't really want to be drawing or playing the first Bowmasters. I think I will just surveil here. I'll take a Force of Will. I was going to minus my Tamiyo to get my Force of Will out of the graveyard, but now I don't have to do that. Though I could. How valuable is this Barrow-Goyf? I think I will plus Tamiyo now and try and race. And I think I will pass the turn here. If they draw with a clue, I flash in Bowmasters, then they can flash into Bowmasters. They just have Bowmasters, okay. Okay, I'm gonna let this enter play. They put one on Tamiyo. Okay. I'm gonna get greedy here. I'm gonna pass priority and hope that they draw with a clue. Yep. Paid off. And now my daze is on. I'm gonna kill their Bowmasters first, and then their clue draw is gonna kill their army. Reanimate. think this might be worth a Force of Will here. I'm going to force pitch Daze. And if they force back here, then, you know, once the dust settles, they'll have a Bowmasters and I won't. But then I can cast Murktide next turn. Okay, but that just happened. They're not attacking with Tamiyo. Interesting. Do I get to my turn without a Wasteland happening? Looks like I am. Okay, well now I will actually minus on one of these Force of Wills. And then I'll play a Barrowgoyf. A big burly one. I think I will just hold back here. I don't know if they would have any other kind of flash creature that could eat my Bowmasters, but getting in for 1 damage doesn't seem worth it. Tainted Indulgence, okay. I mean, again, we could be forcing this, yeah, because now they've been in Atraxa, but I do have the Force, so hopefully that will carry me through, and if not, then I guess the Brazen Borrower might be able to do something. Is this draw with a clue? Oh, it's Petty Theft. Yeah, I guess so. And then another Tainted Indulgence. Yeah, this is no longer about like countering this. My Force of Will is going to be all about countering the Reanimate spell. So they flip their Tamiyo. Tamiyo will then die very soon. Tamiyo pluses. And then a Brainstorm. Okay. They are digging feverishly. And here we go. Okay, I'm going to surveil here. And this is where, like, if I find Force of Negation, I'll be really happy I brought it in. Like, this is the kind of, you know, point where I want to push my advantage here. And I think I have enough advantage on the board that I don't think I need a second Barrowgoyf here. I think I want counter spells or a graveyard interaction. Like Nihil Spellbomb or... Yeah, okay. Unfortunately, I have to... What? I have to put both of these on Tamiyo to kill her. Because that's how Tamiyo works. So let's do that. I'll plus my Tamiyo. And I think I will just cast this Heads Up, this Bowmasters. I could try and go all ham here and then cast a Murktide too. But then I lose to a Daze, which is not something I'm interested in. So let's not do that. Next turn, I can minus Tamiyo again and get my second Brainstorm or Force of Will back. They have seen a lot of cards here. Thoughtseize. I mean, yeah. They do take Force of Will. So if they reanimate Atraxa here, they go to... I was going to say they go to a lower life total. I think I have to draw with my clue here. If they have a Bowmasters, then, you know, that's not the best, but the chance that I might spike a counterspell might be worth it here. Okay. Animate Dead on Atraxa, sure. I have double Brazen Borrower, which is kind of nice, but let's see what they reveal. No Thoughtseize, but a Force of Will. But I get my own Force of Will back here next turn. What is this? Oh, it's just another Atraxa. And another Reanimate. Or a Reanimate. Let's see what they keep. So they keep Force of Will, Atraxa, Underground Sea. So, and Reanimate. Okay, so no no Brainstorm, no second Force of Will, no Consigned Memory. Another Wasteland. So their hand is Underground Sea, Atraxa, Reanimate, Force of Will, and then 2 unknowns. Bowmasters. Yep. So now they have Bowmasters. They kill my Bowmasters. They could have put 1 on Atraxa, which would have killed her, but I get why they would want Bowmasters gone. My Bowmasters gone. They're still not wastelanding me. It's very interesting. Okay. So I guess I will minus on this Force of Will. And Petty Theft Atraxa. They force pitching Atraxa. I'll let them force and then I'll Petty Theft again. Now, if they have the days, I have to force that, but I'd rather do it in this order and then... Yeah, okay, never mind. So Animate Dead goes to the graveyard. I attack with my... I attack with my 2 creatures here. I would rather lose my Tamiyoshi stun enough. Okay, but they don't want it. They double block here. Double chump block. We pass. So we have Underground Sea attracts a 3 unknowns in their hand. Can draw with the clue. And they do draw with the clue. Okay. They don't have any fatty in the graveyard to reanimate right now. They could like reanimate a Bowmasters that doesn't really do much. That basically just buys them a turn. There's the Underground Sea. Animate Dead on what? On my Barrogoyf. How do I feel about that? I think that's just gonna have to be okay. And Katara. Okay. Basic Swamp. Not the most exciting thing. Okay, is there a way I can shrink Barrogoyfs here? I don't think so, right? They have all the stuff I have. Sorceries, creatures, instants, and lands. What's the 5th card type? Enchantment, then they have that, yeah. Alright, I'm gonna plus my Tamiyo. I'm gonna play my land. And I'm going to attack with both creatures. This will likely mean a... Or actually, no. I am going to just attack with Barrogoyf. I don't want them to just gain 5 life here and not lose the Barrogoyf. Or 4 life, I guess. Oh, but they just let me have my thing here. Okay, that's pretty sweet. I will choose this. And we get Bowmasters. Lovely. So I think I will play a huge Murktide and then have Bowmasters. Yeah, I was just about clicking through the stuff here and I accidentally exiled both my Force of Wills. I do want to keep a Force of Will for my Tamiyo minus purposes. Okay, and I'll leave my Bowmasters in my hand for now. Just to not give them a free, like, they flash into Bowmasters on top of mine moment. That might be unavoidable, I'm not sure. Okay, they concede, sweet. Yeah, we just had the, we had the high ground, Anakin. And we got there. Alright, cool, off to round number 3. Okay, on the draw for round number 3, I am going to keep this hand, because it has Brainstorm and can shuffle things around here, but I am a little bit concerned. Cloud Post. Okay, so this is probably the blue post deck. Wastelands are really good here. Okay, I'm gonna... Is there a way I can have turn 2 5/5 Murktide here? I'll have 2 fetch lands, 2 spells, and then a petal. So yeah. This is a turbo Murktide moment, but we'll see if it's even good enough. Okay, so Force of Will, Disruptor Flute. Oh, they have a lot of ways to beat a Murktide. What's this? Oh, it's that one. I don't know. Do I take the One Ring and just leave them with nothing? Like no action? I think I probably have to. They don't have much in the way of mana though. Yeah, let's take the One Ring. I think it was between that and the Force of Will, but if I take Force of Will, they can still like bounce. They have 2 bounce spells to take care of my Murktide. There is Urza's Tower. If I find a Wasteland, I'm not actually sure which one of these I'm best off like wastelanding. Alright, but let's cast Brainstorm. Okay, that finds Doomsday. They have no blue mana right now. So if I turbo out this Murktide, they might feel like they have to I guess no, they can sink into stupor, play that as the land, and then Cyclonic Rift next turn. I still think I play the Murktide here. It loses me my pedal, which is something we have to be cognizant of. Uh, yes, please. Force of Will. Pitching what? Pitching Stock Up. So that's what they drew. Okay. Okay, we pass. If they can somehow tap out of Disruptor Flute here, we get to win next turn. If they don't, then... Oh, I guess we just do get to win. Sweet. Alright, so I'm going to... They can only make 2 mana here, right? No more. How many Locus? 1 Locus. That's not Locus. Neither is that. So we know their hand. Yeah. So if they want to flute here in response to Dark Ritual, we just daze that. And if they don't, then we cast Brainstorm. We make a pile like we're going to win normally. And once we cast Brainstorm, that is when they flute, I would assume. Or maybe they flute right now, I don't know. I just saw like cost being paid, but then it disappeared. Okay. So they had thought better of it here. And even if they wait with the flute until after Brainstorm is done resolving, we can get to a point in a couple of turns where we can just pay the extra 3 mana with LED. But I do expect them to cast the flute with the Brainstorm on the stack. Man, that Daze was just a sick draw. So we make the standard bread and butter pile here. There is a world where they end up being able to keep up, like, resolve the flute at a good time for them, and then keep up Sink into Stupor, but I do have the Daze. I think I'm going to be okay. Okay, here we go. Cast Brainstorm, and now I really want you to cast the flute. Oh, but you did not. Alright. Then I don't think I can actually do it now. Okay. Put back Polluted Delta and consider. And then we pass, I think. Yeah, let's pass. No flute. No fluty business. A untapped blue source here, and then I'm actually in trouble. Wow. Okay, but not that one. That was the one they needed. I might still be in trouble. Who knows what they're left. Their last card is Force of Will now. Disruptor Flute. Okay. I guess that's just going to have to be okay. And I can't win this turn because I would need to tap to cast Consign to Memory. Yep, Thassa's Oracle named. So they might just get us here if they find a way to counter the Oracle. Alright, let's just have a think here. Like, Kozilek's command also gets us, because we will be, like, putting Thassa onto the battlefield with an empty library. Oh, hang on, I can win this turn, right? Because of how Daze and LED works. Oh yeah, no, that is not how that works, right? If I if I tap up, like, float a mana and then cast LED and Daze it, I need to pay for the LED, so yeah, no, that doesn't matter. And right now, I had to restart Magic Online. Something went wrong with my client here. Let's just go through this again. If I cast Consider and then were to Daze it, then I pay, then I have no mana, I play a land, and then I still don't have enough mana. Yeah, I have to just pass here. I think I might just be interested in, like, casting Consider on their turn, like on their upkeep, trying to make them feel like it's important. Alright, let's put Polluted Delta into the graveyard. And... oh, fuck! Oh, I messed that up. Yeah, no, let's just concede. Yeah, oh, that was just a whole big mess on my part. I got a little bit distracted as well. Like my client crashed, and then I got worried about time and everything. But then I also should have just had a look at how many cards were left in my deck. Yeah, so like right now my Thassa is the bottom card, and I need to draw with LED. Yeah, okay, never mind. Okay, so I still think like resolving and winning with Doomsday is pretty legit here, but I do think we want some of these blue cards. And I think we have to get rid of LED and consider... I don't think Orcish Bowmasters is very good. Barrow-Goyf is not the worst, I guess. I don't think Brazen Borrower is very good. I'm actually going to cut those. And then it's a question of fourth Tameo versus second Barrow-Goyf versus second Murktide. I think we just... The thing about Barrow-Goyf is if they have Kozilek's Command even once, that poops out a bunch of blockers. So I'm going to cut a Barrow-Goyf for a Murktide. I will keep this. I will Wizard out my Tameo, and then I will Wasteland them next turn. Or actually, maybe I'm not going to Wizard out the Tameo, because I'd rather have Daze online. And if they want to force this Tameo, and I get to Daze it, that's pretty sweet. Okay, Tameo's in. We pass the turn. I do think, not so secretly, and I don't know if you saw the video I had with Michael Reed, but I do think that Wasteland is like maybe the MVP in this matchup. Oh, Dark Ritual, Doomsday, huh? That is pretty tempting as well. I guess I should have Wastelanded before combat, because this way they can just float mana, and then I can't Doomsday. Oh, okay, but then I can. Sure, Lauren revealed. Getting Underground Sea, sure. I guess if they play Thoughtseize, that actually means this hand is pretty awkward. Force of Negation, pitching the Hull Breacher. Let's Daze that. Doomsday's in. I think Consigned to Memory is pretty nice. But we are kind of choked on mana here. How about this? So we go like draw step, draw Thoughtseize, cast Thoughtseize. Next draw step, draw Misty Rainforest, play it. Then next draw step, we draw like Street Wraith into Consigned to Memory. Yeah. So we put the Snowcourt Island on the bottom, the Consigned Memory, the Street Wraith. And then we draw Thoughtseize next turn. Yeah, kind of like that. Another Urza's Tower. Like, Force of Will on tap Disruptor Flute is how they beat us here, I think. So let's hope that doesn't happen. Ugin and Consigned to Memory. Or rather, Kozilek's Command. Yeah. Goodbye, Kozilek's Command. I'll attack with the Tameo. I guess I can also keep the Street Wraith in my hand and then just draw with a clue next turn. But then I'm shuffling my deck. Yeah, probably not. Okay, that's a Cloud Post. Let's pass. I guess if I cast Cavern of Souls then. Doesn't matter. It doesn't really speed things up. It just leaves me with Street Wraith in hand. And what would that help accomplish? Probably not a lot. I could flip the Tameo right now, but I mean, that's not going to do a lot. Okay, I think I'm going to hold on to my original plan. No, showing them the cavern is not that big of a deal. That's the only sort of opportunity cost here. And maybe I'm actually supposed to draw proactively here because they've shown us Hull Breacher. They can't cast that right now, but that might change next turn, and that would actually stop us. But then, no, I still think that's fine. Yeah, let's draw a card. I don't think they can get to I guess maybe they can. Like next turn, they will have Ugin mana, right? So they'll play Planar Nexus. That is 1. That is 4. That's 5, 6. So no, it's not quite the Ugin mana. Okay. Well, we'll see. Now Tamio flips, which is funny. And the consign in memory here is primarily in case they have Tishana's Tidebinder. It's not so much about countering, like, I guess, Ugin. But I mean, if they get to Disruptor Flute and then Flute on their turn, then nothing matters. They are doing something here. Nope, they're passing. We draw the basic island. And let's cast Thasarino. Thassa's in. And they didn't have anything. Okay. Now to win the difficult match on the draw here, or game on the draw, I don't think I change anything. Maybe Daze can come out, like 1 copy of Daze. I think Daze is like pretty clutch with the Wastelands. Yeah, and I'm just going to resubmit. We have what we want here. We have a Wasteland, and we have a relevant turn 1 play and counter spells. Urz's Tower. I could Wasteland this. If they go Planar Nexus, then they have 4 mana, but then I have Daze for a 4 mana play, and I think I do want Thassa, or rather Tamio, online here. Having the Brainstorm is also pretty nice. And there is the 4 mana stock up. I think that's just going to happen. I want to flip my Tamio next turn. That is not insignificant, though, that they got to do that. Okay, let's attack, get our clue, and we cast Brainstorm, and then we see what we want to do. But I cannot imagine a world where I don't Wasteland that Planar Nexus. Okay, that's nice. Let's put back Underground Sea and Polluted Delta. So we'll draw that next turn. Then we plus, and we Wasteland the Planar Nexus. Yeah, if they just have a second Planar Nexus, that's really good for them and kind of bad for us. But if they don't, then their mana is going to be limited. They have Cloud Post. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, so let's plus our Tamio here. And we know that there's an Underground Sea on top of the deck. I guess I don't hate having a 3rd land. I'm going to Brainstorm now. Let's get rid of Undercity Sewers and what? I guess Lotus Petal. Lotus Petal would let us draw with the clue. Yeah, okay, well, whatever. Somehow them resolving Ugin here is, I think, the most scary thing. Short of that happening, it's looking pretty good here. 4 mana, the One Ring. I'm afraid I'm going to have to give you a big fat no on that one. Daze doing Daze things. Okay, Ring is gone. Had a long thought of that. Let's get a Surveil. Would love to find another Wasteland. Dark Ritual, not so much. There's that Lotus Petal again. Okay, well, I mean, I'm going to put you to the sword here. And I'll just, hang on. Maybe I'm supposed to play out the Petal. Like, we could crack a clue token and hit Consign to Memory. If they find blue mana here, they can Hull Breacher, potentially. That's a way to not lose next turn. They did find blue mana. And I will crack my clue here at the end. That means Consign or Force of Negation is on if they try and flash in the Hull Breacher now. Not for the Hull Breacher, of course, but for, you know, what comes out to protect the Hull Breacher. And I wouldn't hate having another blue card. That would give me double force plus a Daze, which, you know, they have a lot of mana, but might not matter. Okay. They did not fall for that. Thoughtseize. What a huge draw here. Well, or is it? Like, if I Thoughtseize and they have the Hull Breacher, they cast Hull Breacher. So, and then if they have a lot of disruption, yeah, whatever. I do have, because I have hardcast Force Negation, it's fine, even with the Thoughtseize. If their hope is Tishana's Tidebinder, then this is good. Okay, so Hull Breacher comes. I'm going to force pitch Tamio. They have double force here, and that gets them out of it. Okay, they don't. Yeah, whatever. I guess we take the Ugin, and then we draw half our deck. I already made my land drop, unfortunately. Yeah, we don't. We should have no complaints here. Let me just. I guess I can either keep open Consign a Memory, or I can cast Murktide. And like I can cast Murktide and then either keep open Consign a Memory or Thoughtseize them. What was in their hand? It was that tutor card. Instant. Yeah, I'm not too worried about that. I honestly do not think it really matters, but yeah, so let's just keep open Consign and make a big fat Murktide. They cycle their Lorien. It has been revealed. Glimmer Posts. They valiantly keep playing. I salute them for that. Okay, but not anymore. Okay, sweet. Off to round number 4. All right, we're on the draw here. I guess I keep this hand. I'm not in love with it, but I do like the double Thoughtseize and Wasteland potentially doing stuff here, but there is a lot of ways this hand doesn't do what we want it to do. Oh, it's the Cloud Post deck again. That's fun. I guess I just Wasteland here? They probably have Planar Nexus. Maybe I double Thoughtseize them. It's gonna cost me 3 cards though. If they have 3 payoff spells, that's pretty bad. No, I am gonna Wasteland here. I mean, it remains to be seen if this is actually Blue Post, but it probably is. I don't know. There are a lot of other Cloud Post decks running around. So this league has been kind of weird. Double Dimir Reanimator and then double Blue Post. Oh, it's not Blue Post. Once upon a time, okay. In response, for some reason, they find a Planar Nexus, okay. It could be Blue Post that just plays Once Upon a Time, I guess. Okay, let's Thoughtseize. Like Force of Will and then the One Ring. That would be pretty sick. Okay, so they will have 2 mana next turn. So this is not Blue Post, but it is like a prison-y thing. Karn Silex is pretty scary. Yeah, so I can't fetch, can't Force of Will. But other than that, how much do we care? I guess I take the Silex, I think, and then I probably Thoughtseize out the One Ring next turn. I really don't know if that's the correct pick, to be honest. And they do hit Tower. Oh, but they take Trinisphere. Or they play Trinisphere, yeah. Guess that makes sense. Need to find Doomsday. Must find Doomsday. And here's the ring. We draw a card. And play the Glimmer Post. Doomsday right now, maybe there's a chance. Gosh. I don't think there's any good way around this. Maybe. Yeah, no, I don't know. Let's get the sewers. Maybe I should have just taken the One Ring. I mean, hindsight and all that, but let's get rid of Tamio. Excuse me. They're bogging me. Okay, so this has more of a lands tutor package. They probably play like Elvish Reclaimer and stuff. I guess we could Thoughtseize them here and just see what's up, and then I'll concede. Okay, Elvish Spirit Guide, and then yeah, Yavimaya. Okay, I am gonna concede. Yeah. Okay, so like green post. That's cool. I'll board in the Consign of Memories. I'll board in the Force of Negations. I won't board in Flusterstorm because I don't think there are that many targets aside from Kozilek's command. Like in the blue post matchup, you can counter their forces and their stock ups with that. We don't want Orcish Bowmasters. Something tells me we might not want like Barrowgoyf either. Although maybe like Barrowgoyf can maybe do some stuff. Yeah. Brazen Borrower is probably okay to keep in. Tameo, honestly, is probably not very good. Maybe on the draw she comes out. I think I am going to actually board out Murktide. And I'll board out one Brazen Borrower. We're boarding in stuff to stop things from coming into play. And then maybe one Tameo can go. Or is fourth Tameo better than second Barrowgoyf? Maybe we just don't want to be about Barrowgoyf at all. Board out those two. We keep in a single Murktide. Yeah, I've changed my mind. Single Murktide, I think, has a bigger chance of being impactful than a single Barrowgoyf. Okay, I like this. I'm gonna ponder on turn one. They are playing Spirit Guides. This is a deck that can play nutty stuff on turn one. So ponder, finding a force would be great. I don't have high hopes that Tamio is going to do a lot in this matchup. Yeah, come to think of it, I think Tamio is like really bad in this matchup. What is my hope that we're going to go for like turns 4, 5, and 6, and then ultimate Tamio while they're just developing mana. At least we have to have Wastelands. Okay, Dark Ritual. I'll take Dark Ritual. I don't know that they have any reason to suspect Doomsday, so I don't want to. I don't think I should be playing around. What do you call it? Um, Endurance, even though they are a green deck, so I think they probably have Endurance somewhere in the 75. So Cloudpost, yep, that's a good one. I think I will resolve a Tameo here. Maybe I'll do it afterwards, just in case in the very, very unlikely scenario where they have a Mindbreak trap for us. It's better to do in this order, but I don't expect that to be the case. Okay, so Thassa's Oracle. I think we want to try and go for it next turn. Let me just see here. We can go for it with Force of Will backup, I think. That plan gets kind of blown out by Karn's Silex here, or whatever it's called, the Silex thing, because it requires me both to fetch and to Force of Will. What else can we do here? Let's see. We draw Edge of Autumn, cycle it, draw Brainstorm, cast Brainstorm, draw, force. The Thoughtseize obviously has to be the land we will be fetching for this plan to work, I think. But I can put back. Oh, no, never mind. I can put back Underground Sea. Still, I don't think I'll be Thoughtseizing, and in case somehow I end up not being able to fetch because like of the Silex, I would rather have a land even though it's an under City Sewers. All right, let's see here. Cycle Edge, draw Brainstorm, Brainstorm into Force, Thassa under City Sewers, put back Underground Sea under City Sewers, fetch Underground Sea, put Thassa into play, one card in the deck. Tamio will flip, so we don't have Devotion, but we have Force of Will. And if they Silex us, it's okay. Then we can still Brainstorm, we can still Edge of Autumn. Can't Force of Will, so that's not so good, but... Oh, shoot, I almost messed up there. Brainstorm, and then Edge of Autumn. And we'll play Tamio. Let's see here. Karn doesn't matter, the One Ring doesn't matter. Chalice of the Void could be a problem. I'm not sure if they play that. Them showing us Endurance here would be kind of concerning, but that's why we put the Force of Will in there. Wasteland. Okay. Okay. So I could just Marsh Flats and then Oh, a lot of options here because we can also draw with the clue, and not because now I don't want to Edge of Autumn and lose another land if I don't have to. Let's attack with Tamio while we think. I'll play the Marsh Flats. Yeah, I don't know. We're basically just a turn behind now, but the same thing is going to be possible for us next turn if they don't mess with us here. It just means we aren't casting Edge of Autumn, but that also means we don't lose to removal, I guess, on the actual combo turn, because we'll be saving the Edge of Autumn in our hand. Like, 2 more Wastelands here is something of a problem. Okay, that's not a Wasteland. Okay, so we draw the Brainstorm. Do we attack? I guess we attack. Get the clue. Always get the clue. They don't have the mana to flash in the Talon Gates of Mangara, so they would have to crop rotation for it. But then again, like, because of the Edge of Autumn, I think I have that covered. Attack with Tamio. Get the clue. And then we cast Brainstorm. Okay, so we put back Undercity Sewers and Underground Sea. Oh, fuck, what did I just do here? Oh my god, I'm such a goddamn idiot. Okay. We have to wait a turn then. So now we have to wait a turn. Yeah, I just got my wires crossed there. So we fetch the Undercity Sewers now, and then draw Underground Sea. Blast Zone, okay. Karn Silex. Okay, so now we fetch, and we can't cast Force of Will. We could also just not fetch. What happens then? No, I think we do fetch here. And then what we can do is we can play Tamio next turn as well. And that way we do beat the like an endurance, I think, because we'll have 4 cards in the graveyard. Put that on top, please. And yeah, 4 cards on top in the deck. We'll have Devotion 3, and we can cycle with Edge of Autumn and draw 1 of the cards. So if they have endurance here, I think we have it beat. Thassa's in. Okay, but they didn't have it. Right. What do we think about Tamio here? I think we board out 2 copies. We board in the second Murktide and 1 Barrowgoyf. Yeah, let's try this. This is a pretty nasty deck to be playing against, to be honest. Alright, I think I will keep this hand. It is very sort of not, like, no action right now, but we can protect ourselves. And if we find Doomsday, that's pretty good. I think I will just Surveil here, even though I did draw the other land. I guess I'll keep Consign of Memory on top. Don't hate that. I still have not seen any creatures from them, which is, like, aside from the Elvish Spirit Guide, which is curious. Like, if they are all in on these lands, land tutoring, that usually means creatures. Glimmer Post. Okay, so now they have 3 mana. They are passing. I think I Brainstorm here. That means I can't replicate this Consign Memory, but that's probably fine. So let's get rid of one of these forces and Edge of Autumn, I think. All right, I will pass. Keep up Consign of Memory rather than cast Ponder here. All right, they Wasteland. Now I kind of feel bad that I put back my Edge of Autumn, but I guess it's fine. I'll Surveil here. Ooh, Doomsday. Yes, please. Alright, let's cast Doomsday, make the pile lots of lands and Thassa's Oracle. I think we have almost everything covered here. Like, they would have to have multiple Disruptor Flutes and whatnot. Alright, they did not flute in response to Dark Ritual, which is what I thought they might be considering. Warping Whale, okay. I think Yeah, no, I think I consigned this. Veil of Summer, okay, now it's getting yikesy here. Force. Okay, so Veil was countered. That pitched a Spirit Guide as well. But now my defenses are a lot more down than they were just a minute ago. Okay, let's get Thassa. Let's get some mana. Getting fetch lands feels a little bit scary because of that damn Silex. But they probably aren't playing quads of that, and we can Force of Negation it. I've not seen Chalice at all here, but that doesn't mean it's not there. We did see Trinisphere. Trinisphere is the way I lose this game, I think. How about this? So this loses to double Wasteland. They've already used one Wasteland. But it gives us Thoughtseize and lets us beat Trinisphere. I think I like this. Right. Underground Sea, and then I guess Thassa. This is a pretty slow hand, though. Alright. Let's do it like that. Disruptor Flute, again, gets us here if they just wait until our turn. That was not a planar nexus. It does give them 4 mana. I think I have to be okay with that. So right now I could just go for it. Maybe that's safer. I go Brainstorm. I draw Thassa, Edge of Autumn, Scalding Tarn. I put back Force of Negation, and Thoughtseize. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. If they have Endurance, they have Endurance. I mean, this beats Mindbreak Trap. Yay, we got there. Okay, sweet. Off to round number 5. All right, we're on the draw for the trophy round here, and yeah, I'll keep this hand. If we have a land coming, we have a turn 2 Doomsday, but we also have turn 1 Tamiyo. Ooh, Ancient Tomb. This is Chalice. Oh, yikes. Okay, well, I mean, a land and it's all sweet. We do get a land. Alright, so this is just a win next turn, I think. Might not be because of the Chalice and the fact that we don't have more cyclers, but let me just think that through. But let's also see. Oh, I was gonna say I should have fetched or played the Delta to fetch basic swamp, but like if they Blood Moon us here, then it doesn't matter. Wasteland plus Chalice for 1. An Ancient Tomb. Okay, what deck is this? Alright, let's just see. If we go Doomsday, then we we cycle Edge of Autumn, crack LED. We have 3 blue mana floating. We draw the first of 5 cards. That's Street Wraith. But then we have 3 cards left. Oh, we have 4 cards left. And we draw the next one's Thassa, 3 cards left, so we don't have Devotion. But, well, we don't know if this is a deck that plays Force of Will either, and if that's the case, obviously we're losing here. But I still think this is the correct thing to do. I'm gonna play the LED because I don't actually think we're gonna end up using it, and I want to give them a chance to force this if they have a force. Okay, and I am going to, I think, put Force of Will on top of my deck here to cycle into. And I want Cavern of Souls in case they have Shells for 2. I guess Street Wraith. Yeah, I don't really have a good next thing to pick here. Might just put Daze. Let's see here. So we put Force of Will on top, then Street Wraith, then Thassa. Because that way, if we end up like in that situation where we don't think we can or want to wait for the Cavern of Souls, then it's fine. Yeah. What happens if they wasteland me now? I cycle Edge, draw Force, then they wasteland me again. Then it's my turn. I draw Street Wraith and Thassa's there. Yeah, it's still fine. It's not the prettiest of piles, but I guess we put Daze on the bottom, Cavern of Souls, Thassa, Street Wraith, Force of Will. Yep. The second they wasteland here, I'm going to cycle because that is a piece of game interaction that I do want to have happen. Cavern of Souls. Yikes. A green Eldrazi creature. What is this? Okay, so they get to exile my LED. And now they get to wasteland me. And then if they have another wasteland, then the jig is up. This also means I am going to be like holding off for a couple of turns here. So right now the pile is Thassa and then Cavern of Souls and then Daze on the bottom. Okay, yeah. All right, so basically we have to fade them having another wasteland and we have to fade them having Thought-Knot Seer. That's not wasteland. But I guess the line breaker is I'm just dead then? Is that enough? Oh, what does this do? Gain control of our creature. It gains haste. Okay, I don't think that kills us. I could be wrong. So they deal us 5 here, and I'll deal myself 2, so that's 7. All right, very friendly opponent saying that they watch on YouTube. Love that. Okay, I think we're going to get away with this, but let's see. All right, sweet. This is not a pleasant matchup. So I am worried about these post-board games. I think maybe our Wastelands can put in some work here. We do have Consigned Memory. Force of Negation pretty much just deals with Chalice and nothing else. It might be better to have than Daze on the draw. I'm not sure. I think Tamiyo is just really, really not good here. And I also don't think Bowmasters is good. So I think that's the cut. Let's try this. I'm unsure of Barrowgoyf here, which is why I'm not bringing in more. And like bringing in removal doesn't seem very good either. And this is a mulligan. Just a 5-card hand with 4 lands and Daze if they have the turn 1 Chalice. So yeah, I'm not interested. No lands, have to mulligan this. And I guess I'll keep here, but I mean, this is bad. If I force and I pitch Thassa, then what are we even doing here? Eldrazi Temple. Can I draw a Wasteland? Or a Barrowgoyf? I'll take a Ponder. I guess I can afford to take the basic island here, since I have the second land. Okay. Yeah. Guess I will draw Daze, and then I'll draw Doomsday next turn. I still believe more in Doomsday than in Barrowgoyf here, but having the Thassa in hand is pretty awkward. Cavern of Souls. This looks like a Chalice. I'm going to force this. I could Daze. I like having my land in play, and then I also, like, there is an off chance they are playing Simians or, like, Spirit Guides, basically. Okay. Doomsday. Thought-Knot Seer. We lose the game. I think I will try and just Speedy Gonzalez things here. Which means fetch land. and then Cavern on the bottom. So I draw cyclers, cycle. If they have Disruptor Flute, I lose. But I think that's just the way the cookie's gonna have to crumble. I'm gonna put Cavern of Souls on the bottom, or rather, Underground Sea on the bottom, then Cavern of Souls, and then the fetch land, and then the 2 cyclers. Putting Street Wraith on top. There always seems to, I always end up in these corner cases where having stacked the 2 cyclers differently could have mattered. But I think it's so hard to, at least in a lot of cases, it's really hard to see what might end up being the correct thing. Like here, if they deal me a lot of damage on the next turn, then that's a problem. Like if they can deal me 5, then I can't fetch and cycle Street Wraith, which is what I have to do here. So if they can somehow resolve Reality Smash, or they get to win. Yeah, they have a lot of nice things they're drawing to, or might already have. Okay, so now they have 4 mana. That is Thought-Knot Seer mana, but they're passing. That could be Kozilek's Command. Yeah, if it is Disruptor Flute, then it's just GG's. But if this is Kozilek's Command, then I can beat that if I wait 1 more turn. Oh. Yep. Let's give them the chance to name Jace the Wheeler of Mysteries, but I do not think that's going to happen. Yep. All right. GG's. I think I might just actually try and pivot into being more of a, like, having more creatures here. Not the Bowmasters, but the Barrogoyfs. And maybe we can cut on the Force of Negations here. I'm less worried about Chalice when on the play. Okay, I mean, that was a mulligan to 5. Who knows? If we have more resources available, we can build a better pile that can beat the Disruptor Flute. Maybe we put in a bounce spell, or we put in the LED or the... I don't think LED though, because I don't want to lose to Kozilek's Command, but like a Dark Ritual. I don't know. I'm not gonna go ahead and say that I would like totally have plan for that, but yeah. Okay, I like this. They kept 7 as well. Don't like that very much. Let's get rid of Consider. And we'll pass. Lotus Petal, okay. Disruptor Flute. I think I just nab that right now. And I think I get rid of Ponder here. If there's a Dark Ritual on top of the deck, I just get to win. There was not. Murktide is actually pretty interesting. I'm going to cast Brainstorm here. There is a Dark Ritual. What's the plan, Stan? I think gosh, this is hard. I guess I know. I guess I get rid of Murktide and I cast Doomsday right now. And we'll figure it out. Okay, we want the Thassa. We have to be able to beat a Wasteland. They have 3 mana right now. They could Chalice for 2, but if they had Chalice, I think they play Chalice over Disruptor Flute. And what then if they have a Flute? A Fluty Flute. Feels kind of bad putting Dark Ritual into the pile, I'm not gonna lie. Maybe we want a Force of Will. Is this Force of Will, and then just hope they didn't start the game with 2 Disruptor Flutes? So here we could like go draw Street Wraith into Edge into, or not Edge into anything, but then cast Brainstorm, draw Cavern, Force, Thassa, put back Force and Brainstorm. Oh no, Brainstorm's not in my hand. Put back Force and Daze. and then play the Thassa. Yeah, I'm gonna try this. It's always like a fraught calculation in this type of matchup. Like, what are we beating versus what are we not beating? So Force of Will is underneath the Thassa here. Let's go. So this is what it all comes down to, the final round of the final game in the final round. All right, here we go. Cavern of Souls into Smashy Smash, whatever, is probably what I'm most concerned with here, aside from the double Wasteland or Disruptor Flute. That's not a Cavern of Souls. Oh my god, okay. Okay, we lost the trophy. They had the second flute. Bummer, bummerino. The only way this doesn't end up with us losing is if they get clever, but they didn't. All right. All right, we lose. GG's opponent. All right, so we stumbled at the finish line and didn't get the trophy, but I really liked how the deck performed, I have to say. Eldrazi is a pretty miserable matchup. I really struggle historically versus Eldrazi, especially the aggro Eldrazi. There was once like a post Eldrazi deck, like a Cloud Post deck, that was also kind of scary, but not as scary. But yeah, like Chalice of the Void, Fast Clock, aggressive creatures, undercosted creatures, Cavern of Souls, and Wastelands. It's not the easiest, but we came pretty close. And like when I was building the final pile there, I was going through. There was a lot of different things that could trip us up there, and I decided to not build a pile that beat the Disruptor Flute because they had already shown us one. So if they hadn't Disruptor Fluted, I think I would have tried to build around Disruptor Flute. But yeah, that was just the gamble I took. Um, Building a pile with LED is really scary because it really plays into Kozilek's command, where if we leave a card back in the deck, then they can exile Thassa, and if we go to 0 cards in deck, they can make us draw a card. And because of LED, we lose the entire hand. But LED is one way to play around, or yeah, to play around the Disruptor Flute. Um, Building a pile other than like in a way other than that to beat Flute is hard, I think, because I don't have removal. I just have bounce, and if I bounce it, it has flash, right? So they can just replay it. Um, I guess I do get priority, but that also means having 4 mana against the Wasteland. But that might actually just be the best course of action. To be honest, I think maybe I should be considering that line more, and putting in Brazen Borrower. Anyways, let me know what you think. I thought this was really cool. This league went very well. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll be back with some more Legacy. Bye bye.